Hello and welcome back to the Battle Room. I am the Battle Room, and today I have 5 amazing teams for you. So Pokemon Champions is just released this week, and I think you're probably struggling. You're trying to figure out where is the sauce? Where are the amazing teams? Where are the rank 1 ladder teams? Where are the tournament winning teams? And I'm here to tell you that I have 5 amazing teams for you. These are 5 of the best teams in the game right now. They all have insane accomplishments, whether it's getting 2100 in Master Ball, or winning a tournament, or being the literal rank 1 team. I have all of them here for you. These teams are all very, very good, and I'm not gonna lie, I have a fun little Starmie team at the end for you. If that's what you're looking for, if you're here for Starmie, it's finally time to try Starmie out. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the teams, and let's just get into it. Let's talk about these teams and break them down for you. So the first team I have for you today is by the 2019 Senior World Champion, Ko. Ko is probably my favorite player in the game right now. He got top 8 at Worlds last year with Life Orb Miraidon. He got top 16 at UIC with Ursaluna P2. And now he's given us the sauce in Pokemon Champions. Ko really genuinely could make a run for the World Champion next year. So I do think this is an incredible team to take and to learn from. So this team was built around Floette. Floette is easily one of the best megas in the game. Don't worry guys, I do have plenty of teams afterward without Floette. So if you don't have Floette from Legend CA, it's all good. But I still wanted to cover it because it is so potent and so good in the game right now. So what makes Floette so good is that it is so bulky, it's so fast, it hits really hard, and it just feels unfair. It's so hard to KO as well. Its stats are incredible. It's basically like a baby Fluttermane. It's like Fluttermane in baby cute form, right? So let's break down this team and talk about it. So the first Pokemon is obviously Floette. Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam are just 2 of the best moves in the game. Calm Mind is your setup move. Calm Mind just allows you to deal insane damage with your ability Fairy Aura. Fairy Aura boosts the fairy type moves of everything on the field by 30%. So it's equivalent to roughly a Life Orb. This is actually the ability that Xerneas has. I shouldn't say it's a baby Fluttermane, it's a baby Xerneas, right? So obviously Protect is important. The way Floette plays is really simple. You Calm Mind, and then you do damage. That's it. And then we have all these Pokemon to help enable us to do that. So I'm actually going to skip down to Incineroar, because I think Incineroar he's the best Pokemon in the game, but he's also very important to how Floette functions. If you look at its stats, its defense is really, really bad, so having Intimidate helps out a ton, especially because we're going to be Calm Minding. So, and if we want to set up Calm Minds, we're going to need a little help doing that, so boom, Fake Out, right? Incineroar, Floette, amazing lead. If you just lead that lead half the time, you're probably going to be doing well. So you lead Incineroar, Floette, he's faking out, and then you're like, okay, cool. He's done some work. We have the Calm Mind up, but what do we do next? Now, what you're able to do is either deal damage, Throat Chop, or Flare Blitz, which is good, which is strong, or better yet, we can Parting Shot out to reset our Intimidate and also to lower the stats of our opponents so Floette can tank hits more comfortably. So you can Parting Shot out. And the util of Incin is obviously absurd. I don't need to talk about Incin too much, but I do think he helps enable what Floette's trying to do, and I think Floette needs Incineroar to function as well as it does. And then the second Pokemon I want to talk about is Mousehold here. Mousehold is your other help setup Pokemon, right? Leading Mousehold is really cool as well because you can go on the offensive immediately. Super Flank plus Moonblast is going to KO most threats in the game. And Mousehold is actually faster than all of our Pokemon except for Aerodactyl and Delphox, but it is faster than Floette, so we can Super Fang, Moonblast, boom, something's knocked out. It's out of here. There's nothing you can do. It's dead. It's fainted. So I think it's just a cool offensive option as well. And Friend Guard, oh my god, it makes Floette even more unkillable. So I think Mousehold, you don't see it a lot on Floette teams. You usually see Sinestro, but I think Mousehold is an incredible pick here from Ko, and I think it really brings the team together. Super Fang does half to all your opponents. It sets up beautiful KOs with Garchomp as well. Even with Incineroar. Like if you're in a situation where it's Mousehold and Incineroar, Super Fang plus Flare Blitz does a lot of damage. Follow Me is obviously very good because it redirects the moves from Floette. Taunt is a great move that we're not seeing a lot of. It's just not distributed well. But having Taunt is really cool because you're able to stop enemies Floette setup. You're able to stop all setup. You're able to stop Trick Room. I think it's just a great utility move to have. And then Protect. You want to keep Mousehold alive as long as possible because Friend Guard is so good. Then you have Aerodactyl. Now, I think Aerodactyl is an incredible call right now, and I think Aerodactyl, I don't think it's being slept on, but I do think it is very, very good, and we should see more of it. It's such a strong Pokemon in the metagame. It does a lot of very key things really well. First things first, Rock Slide. Rock Slide hits Charizard. Charizard is one of Floette's biggest nightmare matchups, so being able to slap Charizard with Rock Slide, good. Awesome. Sick. Then we have dual wing bait, and this is where Aerodactyl turns into a god. It's actually able to one-shot Sneasler. Sneasler is a very annoying Pokemon in general, but specifically in a Floette, it's one of the best answers, especially White Herb Sneasler. You can't intimidate it. It's going to hit your mouse hold for super effective damage. Obviously, we have Triple Berry, which is cool. I didn't touch on that, but Triple Berry is really good into Sneasler and other fighting moves. But Aerodactyl, he destroys Sneasler. He removes it. Having multiple answers for Sneasler is obviously very, very good. We have Garchomp as well, and Delphox. We have so many answers for Sneasler, but it's so important being a Floette team, so Aerodactyl does that well. A good pick. Also, there just isn't priority Tailwind. Like, Whimsicott is good, so is Talonflame. I think they're both strong Pokemon, but they're not super duper popular, and I think that they're very passive into Aerodactyl, so it's very easy to trade Tailwinds with them, and if they don't have them, Aerodactyl just simply is the fastest Tailwind setter in the game right now. So that's obviously a huge plus as well. Obviously, Protect is cool, but another huge thing about Aerodactyl is its ability Unnerve. So in the game right now, there's not a lot of items. We know this. Obviously, on this team, we have 2 berries. But with Aerodactyl, he stops opponents from eating berries. That's insane. Citrus Berry, no more. Now, obviously, if he switches out, they will eat their berries upon switch out, so like the Citrus Berry will activate. You have to keep that in mind, but as long as he's in there, no berries. I think that is an insanely underrated part of Aerodactyl, and I think it's one of the best parts of Aerodactyl. He's setting up Tailwind, he's doing tons of damage, and he's stopping berry consumption? This guy is absurd! He's so good right now, and I think, again, with Floette, he makes so much sense, KOing a lot of the threats that keep Floette down. And then we have Garchomp. Garchomp is just good. He's just the best guy in the game. Like, Incineroar's number 1, Garchomp's number 2. He hits so many Pokemon super effectively. He's faster than most of the Pokemon. I said it before, like in a limited dex format, Garchomp is simply the best Pokemon in the game. He is him. He's so good. I really like the set that Coach chose as well. Earthquake, Dragonclaw, Rock Slide, Protect. Obviously, we have 2 potential Levitators or Flying types here. Rock Slide can hit Charizard, and Dragonclaw is just really good in the mirror. So White Herb is also really sick because it stops the best Pokemon in the game, Incineroar, from intimidating you. And I think, like, although like Clear Amulet's obviously better, I think White Herb's fine. It does what you need it to do. It functions as a 1-turn Clear Amulet, and that's sometimes all you need, right? Because if they intimidate you, boom, I don't care. I'm going to smack you, and we're going to be chilling. So I think that White Herb is a great choice. And then finally, we'll touch on the other Mega Pokemon in Delphox. Delphox is really good in the matchups Floette isn't good into. So specifically, I would say Charizard and Gengar are Floette's hardest matchups. Sometimes we've seen Mega Tyranitar with Floette, but I think Delphox functions very similarly. It is able to outspeed and one-shot Mega Gengar, and also it is able to trade well with Charizard, right? It's setting up the Sun. Charizard is going to hit your massive special defense stat, and you're able to actually hit it with a Psychic or a Heat Wave back, which feels pretty good. I think Delphox just kind of like brings the team together. It also synergizes well with Garchomp. Double Mega can be annoying to deal with, so I think it's kind of a cool last Pokemon here on Ko's team. Again, Ko is an incredible builder, incredible player, so if you want to try out one of the best teams in the game, this is for you. It was able to hit 2100 rating in the Master Ball tier, which is incredibly high right now, early in the meta, and Ko is just, like I said, I mean, he's a world champion, and it shows. So the next team I have for you today is by none other than UB Slow. UB Slow is one of the best players of all time, but specifically also one of the best builders. UB Slow consistently builds teams that are at the top of the metagame, that are winning world championships. This guy is a Pokemon genius, dare I say. His team building feeds families. So the team I have for you from UB Slow today is probably one of the best teams in the meta. I think this team is very strong, and I think moving forward, I think we're going to see a lot of slight variations because I think he just hit the nail on the head so well with Mega Gengar. So this team is a Mega Gengar Parish team. Again, the rental code is up there if you want to replicate it yourself in your own Pokemon Champions. But this team is built around Mega Gengar. Mega Gengar is easily one of the best Megas in the game. The Shadow Tag ability is just way too sauced. But what I think makes this team so good is the selection of Pokemon he chose. So we'll start with Incineroar. Obviously, I think Incineroar is Gengar's best partner. Gengar's weakest point is its defensive stats. So having Incineroar allows you to help enable that low defense, help Gengar become a little bit more bulky. Fake Out is also really, really cool with Shadow Tag, because if they ever make a mistake or slip up, you can come in, fake something out, and slap it with a Parasong or a Shadow Ball or a substitute. So I think Incineroar pairs incredibly well here. He's also able to Parting Shot. Like if you lead Gengar Incineroar, you protect Gengar, Parting Shot into something that can KO the threats in front of you who are now trapped. It's really, really beautiful and it's really strong, and I think these teams can be very hard to play, but I think they can also be very rewarding. So the moveset is Parting Shot, Fake Out, Protect, and Throat Chop. Protect is here mainly just because we are a Parasong team, so Protect is important. But having Fake Out and Parting Shot is just great utility for Gengar, and then Throat Chop is our damaging move. Shutka Berry was chosen because Citrus Berry was taken, and so was Chompel. So I think this is really the only item Incineroar could run. Now the Mega Gengar, the king of the team. So we got Shadow Ball, Parasong, Protect, and Substitute. Shadow Ball is obviously our main damaging move, and Parasong is very cool. For those who do not know, Parasong, when activated, makes you and your opponent's Pokemon faint in 3 turns upon hearing it. So it instantly becomes a game of stalling out your opponent. And what I think is really cool here is you have Substitute to stall, you have Protect, and then you Protect on all your other Pokemon. So you're able to play the Parasong game. But you do have to switch out of your own Parasong. So it's very important to set up like either potential like parting shots back into Gengar on the same turn. Like a beautiful play you can make is if you have Gengar and Incineroar, you switch out Gengar into, let's say, Sinestro, heal up Incineroar, and then, okay, the trap is broken, they can switch out now because of Shadow Tag, but then you parting shot yourself or your opponent if you can guarantee it, but you can parting shot yourself, bring Gengar back in, and then you have another Protect for Gengar, so you're able to fully stall it out. Parasong is just a beautiful and cool move to play with, and Protect and Substitute help enable that. It can be very tricky to play, especially for new players, but I think, again, it can be extremely rewarding. Then we have Sinestro. I think Sinestro is just simply one of the best Pokemon in the game. It's very strong. Grass typing is cool. Rage Powder is very strong. And Life Dew is strong as well. You're able to keep your Pokemon consistently healed, and you have Hospitality to do that as well. And then Citrus Berry. This Pokemon just never dies, and it's just so good at enabling everything else on your team. So I think Sinestro is very good. Fits the flow of the team as well. I think it's good in the Parasong. I think healing your Pokemon is good. So yeah, I think Sinestro is just a good Pokemon here. Then we have Kingambit. Kingambit is very, very good in this meta. I think the Chopaberry Kingambit set is a great call, and it allows you to actually live a Sneasler close combat here. You see that we have max HP, 2 defense. That's all you need to live Sneasler close combat with the Chopaberry. So you're able to fire back with an Iron Head, get that trade KO, or you're able to just target the partner while you're safely in front of Sneasler. I think Kingambit's cool too when you're trapping things, because he can just come in and now you're like, okay, I can't do anything now. He's here, he's got me pinned, and I can't escape his wrath. The moveset I think is pretty good. Iron Head, obviously you want that Steel Stab. I think the Steel coverage is very important with Floette being as good as it is. Protect, it's Protect. Low Kick allows you to actually win the mirror against other Kingambits and Tyrannitars, which I think is super valuable, because Kingambit hates fighting against itself, especially because the most popular set is like Iron Head, Kowtow, Cleave, Sucker Punch. So having Low Kick of your own lets you pressure enemy Kingambits, which is obviously very valuable. And then Sucker Punch, we got that priority move. You got to have a dark move, so it works really well. Now the last 2 Pokemon I think are where the team just really comes together, and it creates this beautiful, beautiful team. So Scarf Tyranitar may seem kind of crazy. It's slower than Sneasler, it's slower than a lot of the Pokemon in the game, but the thing about Scarf Tyranitar is it's very good into Charizard and Garchomp. And with Mega Gengar, you're able to trap Charizard in, parting shot into Tyranitar, and it's just over. The Charizard can't escape your Rock Slide. You can smack him with it, or you could even Ice Punch the Garchomp if you need to, and just leave the Charizard alone because he's now trapped in the sand. So I think there's a lot of cool pins you can set up with the Scarf Tyranitar. You obviously need to be weary of the fact that he is slower than some of the common meta Pokemon, specifically Sneasler, but it's still just a great pick to add to the team. And then finally we have Como. Como is a really good Pokemon when fairies are like not involved or weakened, obviously, right? Like if there is not a fairy type, this Como set is gonna win. You're just simply gonna win. And what's cool about Gengar is you're actually able to trap Pokemon in, like I've mentioned like 10 times now. So if you trap a Pokemon in, you bring in Como, and now he's chilling, right? You can't switch in your fairy to hunt him down. He's gonna set up his Klingorious Soul, which gives him an Omni boost, by the way. He's gonna get up to +1 in all of his stats. He's gonna smack you with Clanging Scales, and then you're gonna bring in your fairy. Well, at that point, I'm gonna switch him out. I'm going to bring in my Kingambit, right? Or I'm going to set up a pin early in the game, KO your fairy, and then Como is going to clean up. I think it's just such a cool addition to the team, and I think it just adds so much dimension, and I think it makes your opponent have to play so much harder than you have to, just because they have to be so weary of these shadow tags you're setting up. Overall, I think this team is just incredible. I think it's so good, and I think that we're going to see a lot of variations of it, because I think UB Slow, once again, just straight up cooked with this early meta team. I think an option that you could do is also Palafin over Kingambit. That's a team that I've been seeing a little bit as well. I think Kingambit is incredible and definitely should be used, but there are other variations you can do, just as an example. But I think the Como is just so smart with the Mega Gengar, with the Parasong. There's just so many elements to this team. It just seems incredibly fun to play. So let me know if you like this one. Let's move on to the next team. So the next team I have for you is the team that was actually able to win the first Western online tournament in Pokemon Champions with Delphox. I think Delphox is a really cool Mega. I mentioned it earlier, but it's very, very fast. It outspeeds Mega Gengar and can one-shot it. It trades well into Charizard. It just is like a really strong, good, neutral hitter, which I think is very valuable in this format. I think the speed too alone, being one of the fastest Pokemon in the format, feels good to have on your team, right? Like, oof. It's max speed timid here, dude. It's going fast and dealing damage. It's a very simple Pokemon in that way, but it also has a decent amount of depth here, especially with Substitute. I think you can really bait your opponents into potentially having to deal with a sub. You can bait Protects. You also have Fake Out to help enable sub as well. So I think it's just a really good Pokemon here. But let's start from the top. Let's talk about Clefable. Follow Me, Moonblast, Helping Hand, Protect. I think Clefable's really sick because I think this team, it's a Delphox team, but it's also kind of a Kingambit team at its core. Clefable is able to help do that. Unaware is a really cool ability as well. It ignores stat changes, which, I mean, if Pokemon set up, you're chilling. You're having a good time. But you're also able to help enable all your other friends with Helping Hand. Helping Hand is a really cool move. It doesn't get a lot of distribution. So I think having Helping Hand can throw opponents off guard. And also, it's a fairy type. Fairy typing is always incredibly valuable, and Clefairy is no different. Just having Moonblast alone makes it a good fairy type addition to the team. The Citrus Berry keeps it alive forever. I think Clefable is just a big, bulky, strong fairy type. It's like very good and solid. And again, Follow Me is also, there's only 2 Pokemon I believe with Follow Me in the game, which is Clefable and Mousehold. So having one of them, always a plus. Next up we have, I believe, the carry of the team, Kingambit. So this is the Black Glasses Sucker Punch Mono Dark Kingambit set. This one absolutely destroyed when Terra was a thing, and I kind of thought it would be dead on arrival in Pokemon Champions. I wasn't sure if it could continue on without Terra because Kingambit does have some big weaknesses, but this team is built around enabling those weaknesses so that he doesn't have to deal with them. So the set is pretty simple. Kowtow, Sucker Punch are a big damaging move. Sucker Punch for priority, Kowtow for that big nuke when we're at +2. Black Glasses just gives you insane multipliers, and he just starts to one-shot things he just really shouldn't. So I think having Kowtow and Sucker just feels very, very good. But like I said, I thought it would be a problem, but I think with Clefable and Sneasler, it really enables this Kingambit to shine and to just do work, right? And also that Delphox as well is able to remove some of the biggest threats to Kingambit, such as enemy Sneasler, right? Enemy fighting types, Delphox is there, ready to go. So I think it's just a really, really well-crafted team that I think not a lot of people were, like myself, weren't ready for, because I'm like, hey, Kingambit, who cares? I don't need to worry too much about him. He's still strong, he's still good, but the setup set, nah. But Ursa King proved differently. And then we have Sneasler. Sneasler is just so good. This set is actually Focus Sash, I think, to help more enable Kingambit, but also just give it some survivability. No need for the White Herb when you're just mainly trying to enable the rest of your team with Fake Out. Close Combat, Dire Claw, Fake Out, Protect. Very simple set. We have our double Sabs to deal as much damage as possible. Fake Out to flinch opponents so we can set up with our Kingambit. And then also Protect, I think, is kind of neat because I think most people don't necessarily expect you to have it. And this one, again, is about enabling our other partners with the Sash. So having that extra coverage is just not needed. You'd rather just live for an extra turn. Then we have Dragonite. Now this Dragonite set is insane, dude. It's so crazy. We're playing Champions without loaded dice, no items really, and we have Scale Shot Dragonite. Scale Shot really is that good though, because now you're probably saying, okay, why are we using a multi-hit move? Scale Shot's different because it raises your speed by 1, and it does lower your defense. It does have a drawback, but that speed boost can start to stack, and it starts to become a huge, huge problem, especially when it's able to outspeed stuff like Garchomp, like Charizard, and be able to hit them before they can move with Scale Shots. So if you set him up prior to Garchomp coming in. Now you just threaten a potential Oko. And the thing about Scale Shot too is, as long as you hit 3 hits or more, it's just better than Dragon Claw. If you do hit 2 hits, it does feel bad and it can kind of suck. But if you hit 3, 4, or 5, which statistically the odds are in your favor that you're going to hit more than 2, it's just valuable. It's just worth it. Like, even a 3-hit Scale Shot is good. So I think Scale Shot is a move that we definitely slept on, and it's kind of sick that Ursa King was able to pull out this set from Regulation H and make it shine here. Extreme Speed is obviously good to have priority. Haze is really cool as well for enemy setup, or just to lower, you know, like if they're intimidating you, just to remove that onto your Pokemon can be pretty sick as well. And then Protect is obviously very good. And then the final Pokemon here is Basculegion, who I think is starting to become one of the best Pokemon in the game. Specifically this Scarfed Adaptability set. Now, Bask wasn't very good in... Like, I don't think he's that great in Rain. He's still pretty good in Rain. But I think the Scarf Adaptability set is what really makes him shine. I think having that fast flip turn, we saw a lot of this actually in previous formats. The fast flip turn is really annoying to deal with, because turn 1, he could threaten you with a big Wave Crash and just start to deal damage, or flip turn out. And he can't be faked out as well. So Incineroar's like, man, I just have to eat a flip turn or a Wave Crash. The mind game for your opponent feels so bad. But for you, you're like, okay, I'm just going to flip turn and get into my big threat, right? So I think it's such a cool interaction for Basculegion, the Basculegion player. Obviously, Wave Crash, Last Respects are very strong as well. He's a very good late game cleanup mon, but he's also a very good opener. Whether he's chunking things or just flip turning into something more useful, can feel pretty good, right? So I think Basculegion is an incredible pick, and I think this team is super, super good. It's just a really good Kingambit setup team that I don't think a lot of players are doing, and it did win the first tournament of the year, so I don't know. It kind of has to be good, but yeah, you should definitely give it a shot. I think it's super, super cool, and I think it's just really incredibly made. Now the next team I have for you. This one is literally rank 1 in the game right now. It is simply the best team in the game, and it is made by none other than Suika. For those who do not know, Suika is a Japanese player who plays in the Australian circuit. He's incredibly, incredibly talented. He consistently is one of the best ladder players in the world, winning multiple global challenges last year, and also just consistently putting up insane performances. Suika is just incredible. There's not much to say. He's an incredible player, incredible builder, and he got rank 1 in Pokemon Champions literally today. This is just simply the best team in the game. I have the best team in the game for you, and you should definitely consider trying it out. I think that a lot of the pieces here we see are pretty, I don't want to say obvious, but some of the stuff we've seen before on some teams, but I think where he shines too is definitely his spreads. So let's talk about it. So this is a Charizard Y team. Charizard is really, really good. He's easily a top 3 Mega right now. He's performing really, really well. He synergizes so well with Incin, Garchomp, Sneasler. He's just a great Pokemon. So good Pokemon, right? The moveset is pretty cool. Heat Wave, Air Slash, Weather Ball, Protect. Heat Wave and Weather Ball are pretty normal and pretty strong. Obviously, Weather Ball is like a nuke in Sun. It feels better than Overheat because you don't have to worry about those drawbacks. Now, the weird move here is Air Slash, which I think is kind of a crazy choice. We see usually a lot of Solar Beam here, but obviously we do have Venusaur, which I think is pretty valuable. But Air Slash is that stab flying type move that Charizard has. And you'll notice here that this Charizard is actually pretty bulky as well. It has a lot of special attack, obviously, but it isn't really that fast. It only hits 133, which isn't normally where Charizards are chilling at. Usually they're very just max speed, max special attack, but we have a very strong, bulky, modest Charizard here. Now, the next Pokemon we have is Sneasler. Sneasler is so good on Sun. I think Sneasler just helps enable a lot of the other Pokemon. It also is just another fast threat that you have to deal with, right? Like Charizard, Garchomp, Sneasler are all very fast in their own right, and they're also just all very annoying to deal with. And when you put them all together, godlike, right? This Sneasler is just max speed adamant, so nothing too crazy there. And it's just simply a, like, coverage Sneasler, right? Like Close Combat, Dire Claw, obviously are its 2 stabs, very, very good. White Herb allows us to not be intimidated, and if we do get intimidated or proc it with Close Combat, we do get our double speed, which is really good. I think White Herb Sneasler is just one of the best in the game. It's just absolutely insane. Rock Slide also is pretty valuable, especially in the mirror against other Charizards. It's just mostly about the coverage here for the Sneasler. Then we have Scarf Basculegion in the Sun. Kind of an insane pick, but I think a really, really smart one. Like I've mentioned before, I think this set is amazing. It's godlike, right? Because the thing about Basculegion is, is that you could lead with him and you can open up some really strong like flip turns. You could like turn 1, just Mega Evolve Charizard and not care and just flip turn into Incineroar, flip turn into Garchomp and just get a nice resist or a nice sweeper next to him. Or you just protect Charizard and just fire off a water move. Like, although you have a little bit of anti-synergy with Charizard, I think it doesn't matter because I think Basculegion is just that good. The thing is, too, is he has last respects. So you can open with Charizard and Sneasler or open with Charizard Basculegion, switch him out with Flip Turn, and then in the late game he can start sweeping with last respects in the sun. You just don't really care. I just think this Pokemon is just so Giga broken. He's so strong, and I think players are really catching on to this Scarf adaptability set that makes him so disgusting. So I think it makes sense, even though it is a Sun team, and it's kind of crazy to see. I think it's a really smart choice from Suika. It is max speed, Jolly, Basculegion, which, you know, it does need that little extra speed so it can outspeed some of the big threats in the meta with that Choice Scarf. And then we have Habanberry Garchomp. Not only is Habanberry Garchomp, it's also so bulky. 24 in HP, 20 in attack, Adamant Garchomp. Not something you see a lot, but you're able to trade more effectively with enemy Garchomps, right? They're going to smack you with a Dragon Claw, but you have a Habanberry, and you're going to fire back with an Adamant Dragon Claw, which actually probably gets very close to OHKOing because Jolly Dragon Claw will never OHKO enemy Garchomps, but an Adamant Dragon Claw, it just might. So I think that is another really cool choice here. Otherwise, the set is pretty normal. Dragon Claw, Earthquake, Rock Slide, Protect. We just got our standard classic Garchomp here. Earthquake is very good with your own Charizard. That is our only Earthquake partner, but I think the value of Rock Slide, specifically in the mirror, is also just worth it. And then we have Incineroar. Incineroar is just so good on these type of Sun teams. You're able to fake out. You're able to Flare Blitz in the Sun, which does a lot of damage. Incineroar is also very bulky. We do have an Adamant Incineroar, so we're doing a little bit more damage than normal. But in the Sun, that Flare Blitz is hitting like crazy. But the thing is, too, is he just enables everybody. Lowering the defense, or lowering the attack, just helps with Charizard's lackluster defense. So I think Incineroar is just a great pick with Sun. He's just the best Pokemon in the game. So I think the core of Charizard, Garchomp, and Incineroar is here to stay. And I think Suika just added a really cool take on it. And then finally, we have Venusaur, which is a Pokemon that we don't see a ton of. Honestly, is this one even fully EV trained? It's not. Make sure to throw those 2 points in there. But Venusaur is just so good in this format. There is no safety goggles. You have to run Lumberry to stop sleep. So I think Venusaur is just very well positioned. This one is opting for a ton of coverage, though, with Earth Power, Sludge Bomb, Energy Ball, and Sleep Powder. No Protect needed. We're just putting them to sleep, or we're smacking them with super effective moves. So I think Sleep Powder is obviously very good, but then Venusaur's got all the coverage, those double stabs, and Earth Power. Earth Power is very cool when you can fit it on. The coverage into Sneasler, the coverage into enemy Incineroar, it feels very good, especially when you're just pressing like Earth Power, Heat Wave, just smacking those ground-type weak Pokemon. This is the #1 ranked team, and I think it makes a lot of sense. I think Charizard, like I mentioned, is very well positioned. He's one of the best Megas, and I think this is just the best Charizard team right now. So if you're interested in Charizard, this is the one for you, literally rank 1. Suika is an incredible ladder warrior, and yeah, it's a sick team. It's a sick team. I like the small changes in the EV spread. I think do go a very long way. You know, specifically that bulky Charizard and bulky Garchomp. So definitely give it a try. So the final team I have for you is a little bit more of a fun one, but this is a Mega Starmie team. So this team was built by Barudoru, who is the 2017 World Champion. An incredible player, an incredible builder, and he's just someone who likes to dedicate his times to a lot of goofy teams. We've seen this a lot in Scarlet and Violet, but now it's coming back to Champions. I wanted to throw in Starmie just in case. People like Starmie, so I want to put this one in there. Let's break this one down. So first things first, we have Kingambit. So Starmie is a physical attacker in this game. It gets huge power, which is pretty crazy. It's just max attack, max speed Starmie. But at the same time, that makes it weak to Intimidate. Now Starmie can fight with Incineroar because it is a water type, so it can hit it super effectively. But I think having a little bit of that extra Intimidate deterrence goes a long way. So we have Kingambit to accomplish that role. Again, the Chocoberry Kingambit set is so good. This one's actually opting to run low kick though, mainly for the Kingambit mirror because Kingambit does look annoying, but also it is very good into enemy Incineroar as well, who again is very annoying and a big threat because we're running Starmie. So I think that's a cool choice. Then we have Calm Mind Sylveon. Now, obviously, we have a ton of setup here. We have 2 Fake Out users and a Rage Powder / Hospitality user. So a setup Pokemon makes a lot of sense here. So we have Sylveon. We have Hyper Voice, Helping Hand, Calm Mind, Detect. The truth is Sylveon only needs one move, and that's Hyper Voice. So you really can run Helping Hand, even though it is a setup Sylveon set, which I think is kind of cool. Calm Mind to get Sylveon going. And then again, like I said, Helping Hand can help enable the other sweepers on the team like Starmie, Sneasler, or even Kingambit. So a very cool set. Hyper Voice spam is very good. I think fairy types are very strong. There's not a ton of them. So I think having that on Sylveon does just feel good. And if you get this thing going, like 1-2 Calm Minds, it's going to be trading like crazy. Then we have Incineroar. Incineroar obviously is still one of the best Pokemon in the game. He's able to enable our Calm Mind setup. We have Fake Out, Darkest Lariat, Flare Blitz, Parting Shot, and then Citrus Berry as well. It's just that bulky Incineroar. This was actually really strong. Holy, it is bulky, but this one has so much attack. But yeah, he deals big damage with his stabs. The thing about Incineroar too is like, he's very bulky naturally, but he also does do a lot of damage, especially in his low power formats. Like, you can run him pretty bulky, but he's going to trade well with you because he still has amazing typing, and his base power on his moves are, like, especially Flare Blitz, is enough to keep him very, very relevant damage-wise. Then we have Sneasler here. I think Sneasler is really important for Starmie because it helps enable it. It's able to coach it up, make it go crazy. Getting that defense boost is very valuable as well, but specifically coaching to raise Starmie's attack without Starmie having to set up, I think feels pretty good, and I think is very important to making Starmie function. So we have Rock Slide because Charizard is a threat here. We don't have any weather changing, so we do need to deal with Charizard. Rock Slide is able to do that, especially because they might not see it coming. Then we have Close Combat for our stab fighting move, which is very, very important. And then we have Fake Out, because Fake Out's goated, and Coaching, like I mentioned. And then this is a Sash Sneasler, I think just more so to enable the Starmie even further. Because if you get 2 Coachings off, this Starmie can go absolutely insane. And then we have Starmie, the king of the team, or I guess the queen. We have Liquidation, Zen Headbutt, Substitute Protect. I think Substitute is really cool because it blocks Intimidate, but it's also just like a cool, strong move that I think players might not see coming. And then we just have our double stabs. Nothing too crazy to talk about in the Starmie category here. And then finally we have Cinny. Cinny's just one of the best Pokemon in the game, and I think it helps enable our Calm Mind Sylveon mode here, but it also just helps with Rage Powder. It can heal anything, like it can heal Incineroar, Starmie, whatever needs it, Cinny is there to help it out. And then it also gives us a little bit of a Trick Room mode, which on this team I actually think could come up because you do have Sylveon and Kingambit who are pretty naturally slow. So I think Trick Room is actually really valuable on this team, and it also has Shadow Ball for that coverage. So I do think that Trick Room mode is very real. So I think this team is just kind of a fun one I wanted to throw in there because I do think while the other ones are like so good and are literally like rank 1 on ladder winning tournaments, it's still a world champion. It's still Barudoru. Ryota is the GOAT. So I wanted to show off one of his crazy creations here for you to try out. It also did get a undefeated 20 win streak, according to Ryota. So it is still a very good team with Starmie. And I think a lot of players won't see it coming. Like, they just won't know what this team is doing, and I think that gives you a huge advantage. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you found a new team that you wanted to try out. I tried to come up with the best teams I could for you. I think the game is changing rapidly, and I'm probably gonna have to do another team video soon, but for now, these are some good teams that you can use. Hey, there's a grand challenge going on right now, and if you didn't have a team, you now do. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.